This week on the Spike and Jones podcast.
Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. It's been a few days. Actually, it's been a few weeks. This week on the show, we talk about family. Family's one of those things we're all stuck with. Good and bad, doesn't really matter. That's who we got. Fortunately for Spike and I, family's one of those things we deal with pretty well. This week's show's kind of different. Not so much comedy as it is drama. But I think you'll find it really fascinating, and we had a good time talking and telling stories, and we get to share them with you today. So thanks for digging in with us, and thanks for being a part of everything we're doing. We couldn't do it without you, because you too are family. So, on with the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Spike and Jones.
Season is a Richter scale on everything in your life. Everything from happiness to misery. It's all amplified by the holiday season. It really, really is. The holiday season is the hardest time of the year for a lot of people. It's what gets people through their life to a lot of people.
Yeah.
The holiday season. So I can just make it to the holiday season. I swear to God, people feel that way. I've felt that way in the past in my life. I've never dreaded the holiday season. I'm a very holiday person. You know, we wanted the Deep Six family today.
Yes,
and boy, and when you say I want a Deep Six family, I don't know if there's a better bumper sticker that you could put on there. You know, I want a Deep Six my family.
Yeah.
I think when you asked about what topic could we Deep Six today, and you know, to me, if you think too hard, it's not your best work. I'm a firm believer that the best shit I've ever created just fell out of my head.
Yeah.
You open your mouth and it falls out. The best was tune I ever wrote. I wrote in one track, one take, done.
Yeah.
Done. You never had to go back and change anything. It's the ones you struggle on. There's a reason you're struggling for them. You know, there's a reason they weren't easy. No, I don't want to diminish, you know, the muse or whatever the fuck it is that lives in your shorts and makes you talented.
It's in my shorts?
Yeah, well, yeah, sure it is. Sure.
Do I get your muse in my shorts?
Well, it's Tide gets the muse out. So, you know, family, it's funny. I said, let's talk about family because we can find plenty to talk about with family.
Yeah.
Family is the root of all evil, much like the holidays. Family is the root of all joy. It's the bedrock of life, and it's the root of all evil. Family can and has and will be for everybody at one time or another in their lives. Everything that's wrong and everything that's right with your life.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny, too. There's this weird thing that happens around the holidays more than any other time of year, and that's when your parents, or your loved ones for that matter, bring up the old stories about you, right? In your situation. Yeah. Remember the time Jamie did this, right?
You were a moody little shit.
Right.
That's the descriptive. It'll be on my tombstone. He was a moody little shit. My aunt used to tell everybody that. Chris, we lost my mom a couple, 3 years ago. And my mom was Christmas, you know. Christmas was my mom's holiday. And that's why Christmas is my holiday. My wife's a Halloween girl. I'm a Christmas guy.
Interesting.
We literally have storage unit that we keep monthly, much to my chagrin and expense. I pay to not look at my own shit to the tune of almost $300 a month.
Oh my God.
I swear to God, dude. And it's been there I've got a 10-year anniversary card for my storage unit. 10 years. I've been storing shit and paying not to look at my own shit.
That's crazy, man.
It is. It's stupid, but I don't have the time or the energy to go burn it down.
Are you a hoarder? I don't mean in the clinical sense.
I am a borderline hoarder. I don't know how to get rid of anything. I've got to say yes, I'm a hoarder. I don't know how to sell anything. I've never sold anything in my life. I've never sold anything I've ever had. I've either donated it or thrown it away. And I've got more shit. I lug a trail of shit. It's behind me in my life. I mean, you name it, I've got it, man. Jerseys, coats, everything, records, toys, memorabilia, you name it. I thin my herd by making donations to charities. You know, they need something cool for the auction. Sure, I got a ton of that. What do you want? I got tons of that stuff. That's the only reason I'm ever good. I mean, I give cars away to charity or to friends before I would sell. I don't even know how to sell a car. I couldn't if I wanted to. I traded in once or twice when I got a new car.
You want to buy my dad's car because he's got an extra...
I'll take an extra car. I've got room. I've got one in my storage unit, two in my yard that I don't drive, one in my garage, two motorcycles.
So my mom is actually selling my father's car. My father's pride and joy was a 65 T-Bird.
No way.
We're talking crazy impeccable.
Wow.
I believe it has just over 100,000 miles.
What's she want
and
for
it's
it?
51 years. Oh, excuse me, 51 years old.
No shit.
I think 16.
Wow. If I didn't already have a 65 Mustang in my garage, that was impeccable.
That was my first car.
That was my wife's car. I'm not allowed to wash that car,
Yeah.
let alone drive that car.
What color is it?
Wimbledon white with a pony interior.
Oh, man. Does it have the vinyl top?
No, it's a hard top. 65. It's funny because we went to change out the lenses in the tail end one year, and the guy we went to get lights from said, no, because they're all faded and orange. He's like, these taillights are 64 and a half taillights by the serial number. These are
Really?
like, this is one of the first 65s to roll off the line. Because these taillights are still listed as 64 taillights.
Yeah, so the old taillights, but without the generator.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure about the dynamics of the mechanical of the car, but just I'm talking about the red lens of the taillight.
I understand.
We wanted to put new bright red ones in instead of the orange faded ones that are in there. And the guy said, "Oh, don't touch these.
Nice.
Leave these alone." Yeah, I think I'm a hoarder. And Christmas is, our storage unit. By the way, I started this by saying we've got all these bins in our storage unit that are color coded, like orange bins with black lids are all our 6 bins of Halloween decorations.
Nice.
But the 12 red and green bins are my Christmas shit.
Where do you find red and green bins?
Oh, I go to Home Depot after Christmas. They sell them for people who store their Christmas gear. Oh, you bet, man.
Okay.
And I got, this week, I went up there this week and got the lights out. Put the lights up last weekend.
Nice.
For my little one. And should I say my little one, but it's for me.
Nice. I was surprised that I came home from work this week and my wife had actually put our tree up. That blows me away.
That's this weekend. I'm treeing it up this weekend.
Yeah. So, I know we'll get to the family thing in a second. And you mentioned, we started talking a little bit about Thanksgiving and the holidays in general. And of course, the first thing everybody, I think, thinks about is family and how you typically argue through that period of time. Or you bring up, sore subjects come up, old stories come up.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff you'd kind of rather avoid comes up. It's a strange thing. And I don't know why it always happens, but it always happens.
Well, I think it's because it's the people that know you best that you see the least.
And so they're somehow comfortable.
Well, they've got the card to play, the family card. You go with murder when you're family. You can pick your friends, you can't pick your family. So that being said, family feels that they have the right to do and say anything they want to because they're family, and they do have that right because they're family. Because you'll forgive them, maybe not, but they'll try it anyway because you've forgiven them in the past, I guess. Yeah. I mean, these are the people that know you the best, that you see once in a blue moon, that you see at the holidays.
Yeah.
You only get along with crazy uncle. I only see crazy Uncle Walter at the holidays, Maybe. So that shit comes up. And, I couldn't tell you how many times this week I saw how to talk to your family about politics at the Thanksgiving dinner.
How about not?
How about don't? I'm like, yeah, right. You want to do it? Put a porno on. That's how you.
That's easier.
That's how to deal with it. Yeah, Isn't that great the way the blacks and whites get together and they do what they see? It's like, they can get along. Why can't we get along?
Well, that won't break the ice. That won't melt
the ice. Yeah. Then don't. If it's but. I mean, you're talking about family, and it's not just the holidays. I mean, I can't talk to my brother about politics. I've told you in the past, my dad and I didn't speak for months prior to the election because he was, back in the other agenda, as was my brother. And I see my brother post idiotic shit on Facebook, and he would tell his friends, I see my brother post idiotic shit on Facebook because my points of view must look ridiculous to him because I certainly know his look ridiculous to mine.
Yeah,
but he's family, so I'll understand and I'll accept it. Yeah. I can unfriend a bunch of zero strangers, but I'm not going to unfriend my brother.
Yeah, you can't pull the blood out of your coursing through your veins. I asked my mom. Well, I shouldn't say I asked my mom. I think we just avoided everything to do with everything this year because as everybody knows, for the 90th time, my father passed away in August, and so this year was our melancholy holiday. Sure, right? Yeah. A little more maybe than others. And
we're into it. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's just
and next year will be too. And I don't mean to be the bearer of harsh reality, but it's never going to be normal.
No,
you'll get better at it. Yeah, it'll become less so than it is now, but it's always going to be. There's always going to be a tinge of what's obviously missing. It's what it is. But it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can revel in what is still there of someone who's gone. At least I try to do that. Yeah. I miss my mom horribly. And, Christmas was her holiday. But when I look at my tree, it reminds me of my mom because that was her deal. We would, as little kids, we would drive from lot to lot to lot to lot to lot until we found the tree that made my mother cry. And I swear to God, you've seen in the Christmas Story with the old man and his, it was an Arab trader, find the right tree. My old man would just bitch and moan until my mother would not stop. She would not settle for a tree. Until she found the tree that made her cry. It wasn't her tree.
Did it have to be a noble fir? With the perfect shape.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And the cut ends. Yeah. You bet. Her trees were gorgeous. Yeah. Just gorgeous.
That's how my dad was. My mom, I shouldn't say my mom. I actually don't know which one of them was really more obsessed with the trees, but it seems that my father was obsessed with, that perfection of having the perfectly trimmed tree, the tears. Yeah. And he, probably every 3 years he had an old flocking machine and they would actually go out in the garage and spray all this white stuff over. It was great.
It's awesome.
And so yeah, the trees were always quite lovely. My dad was very artistic with that and took a lot of time. So it was really beautiful. And one year, we were living in Olympia and my father got a tree permit, so we go out into the forest. And so our thing as a family, we didn't go to the tree lots. We went out into the forest. We had to create an adventure out of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was actually that my parents wanted to create an adventure, but they thought it would be an adventure.
I hear you.
So we go driving up this mountain outside of Shelton. And I don't know, a Mazda 626 or something, right?
Built for the off-road snow.
Completely, exactly.
Yeah.
It was a turbo, though. Boy, that thing. And we go jamming up this hillside in the middle of winter. And I don't know, it's early December.
Logging road.
Logging road. Dad's got his chainsaw. He's got his tag. And we go up there, and I swear this is true. He stops. All of a sudden, he slams on the brakes, and he's like, there it is, right? And he goes running out, and he runs over to this grove of 50-foot tall trees.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want the top 15 feet of that.
You are spot on.
I love it, man.
He goes, there it is, and he looks up.
He looks up at the top. Did he bring the whole thing down just to take? And Bruce took its head.
Thing down to cut the head off.
It's like a guy who just takes the tusks and leaves the elephant. Man, that's horrible. That's awesome.
Right, and he's like, everybody get back. He's felling.
He fell a 50-foot fucking tree. That's awesome.
And I know my mom will listen to this and she will laugh because she will remember that he only did that the one time. But he fell a giant tree, and then he goes to the end, just hacks it off.
Oh my
and he's
God.
like, it's a tag for a tree.
Oh my God. You didn't bring the trunk home, make a canoe for the kids.
We should have. We should have. I mean,
saw it in the rounds and bring it home and split it.
I mean, at the base, it was probably
I'm sure.
a foot and a half, 2 feet in diameter. It was amazing.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
dude.
And he took home 6 feet, probably.
That's great.
Yeah, and it was gorgeous. And it was a.
I'm sure it was perfect.
It was a fur.
Yeah.
So.
But when he got it to the ground and he'll see it up close, he goes, "Nah, not this one."
Yeah, now that would have been. That would have been great.
Oh my God, that's a Saturday Night Live bit right there.
Yeah.
Nah, maybe that one over there.
Yeah. Very lovey howl from Gilligan's Island.
Oh my God.
So how was Thanksgiving for you? It's been 2 weeks since we've been together, and we released an older podcast last week. So we haven't seen each other for a few weeks. So how was the last 2 weeks for you?
Family.
Everything.
Family and food, man. It's what Thanksgiving is. It was nice, thank you. It's when you're, when you're blessed enough to have somebody that you bitch about having to go see. You should be so lucky in life to have that person you bitch and moan about. I can't believe we got to go over there and do blah, 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 blah. We went to God love them, went to our cousin's house, and they're getting divorced.
Oh, so you traveled?
Well, no, I mean, to the 18 minutes to their house.
Oh, okay.
They went to our cousin's house, and they're getting divorced, and they still live under the same roof. They've been sleeping in separate rooms for about a year now. It's been over for longer than that. It's one of those things.
Yeah.
The papers were actually served.
Kids involved as well.
Yeah, but kids are leaving high school. One's college, one's leaving high school. So they waited it out until, it would have less impact, which was, I commend them both for doing that at least. But that makes for a difficult situation.
Yeah.
And both of their families were there. 18 of us at two big tables. His parents were there in Sibs, and her parents were there in Sibs. So it was,
Who thought this was a good idea?
All kind of uncomfortable. Well, you know, I think there's also the realization this was the last time we'd get to do this because they're gonna, you know,
makes
they're
sense.
gonna pull the trigger and move on. So we're not going to get a chance to do this together as a big unit. So let's not miss the last after. And it was pleasant. It was nice. It was wonderful. Little kids played. You know, big people shot the shit. We feasted. We reconnected and bragged about this, that, and the other thing, and checked in with everybody, and laughed, and it was good.
Is anybody else in your family in an industry where they would be known? I mean, obviously you are in an industry that you have some public
Some notoriety.
People know who you are.
Some
Correct.
notoriety. And I appreciate you saying that. It's nice.
No, it still works.
It still works a little bit. That's still,
You're still scary on a Harley.
I'm still scary on a Harley. That's only because of the way I ride. Badly. Nobody is. It's funny. No, I'm an outlier in my family. And that's cool. And there are times when over the course of my life when I would dread the reconnection, and because they all wanted to talk shop, about my world. And that's God forbid it ever stops happening. Me bitching and moaning, God, I wish people didn't know who I was. I never have said that. That's an idiotic thing to say. But then now the family's all pretty regular Joes, machinist here, warehouser there, animator there.
Animator?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. One of my, and by marriage only, but a cousin, I would say distant cousin by marriage. He was signed on with the Diz. He's doing some animation with the Diz. Worked his way up through. He's always been a fun, cartoon-loving gamer kind of kid.
Wow.
He's in his, late 30s, maybe early 40s.
That's cool.
Yeah, nice guy. Sweet, salt of the earth guys too. So
yeah. So outside of potential family distress that seemingly didn't happen.
Yeah.
What else did you do? I mean, it's been 2 weeks since I've seen you. Just been working a ton.
Yeah. Coming in here.
Emphasis on the W.
Yeah. I got to go do football stuff and watch sports, and went to see a great band. Went to see Temple of the Dog that fell into my lap.
That's
The
where I
Temple of the
wanted to go.
Dog
I've actually
show.
have notes here that say make sure you ask. So tell us about that. How'd that happen?
Went to the Seahawks game against the Eagles, as we have season tickets. My brother and I, one of the reasons we have season tickets, both we were raised as football fans in Baltimore. Right. When my dad was growing up, when my dad was alive, he had season tickets for the Colts, and he would take my brother 1 week, me the next. It was our turn to go, or Kevin's turn to go, or my turn to go, blah, blah, blah. And when my dad passed away, my brother and I got season tickets, and we went. So now we have season tickets, and we don't see enough of my brother. We really don't. There's some stress between my brother and my wife. Both are complicit in the dysfunction. But we have season tickets together to make sure that we spend time together.
That's cool.
And we go to the Seahawk game, and
your wife's never there.
She goes sometimes.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
We have
do you actually have 3 seats?
We have 3 seats.
Wow.
Yeah. We have 3 seats, and my brother gets the 3rd seat for 4 games, and I get the 3rd seat for 4 games. We used to be able to just go to 2 games together, and then he'd take his kids to 2 games, and I'd take Darby to 2 games, or my wife to a game. Mm-hmm. But we figured, you know what, we want to spend time together.
Do you know I've never been to the Clink for a game?
Damn, brother, how do you get out of bed?
I don't know how I'm
morning?
American. I don't know. I've never done it. I went to the Kingdom quite a bit.
Yeah.
But nope, never seen a game there.
I've seen every great game there for the last 20 years.
I can imagine it's been pretty awesome.
It's been a blast. Yeah. I saw all the big catches, saw Beast. I was the Beast Quake.
Wow.
I was at the tip. It was right in front of me. It was literally 20 foot in front of me.
Gosh. Skittles flying everywhere.
I throw Skittles every week. Every week
the
I
old
throw
lady
Skittles.
sweeps them up.
Yep. Little Barb down there. God love her. So I'm standing outside tailgating, and a buddy of mine walks past, a guy named Craig Gask, local comedian, national comedian.
Yeah, I know who he is.
Craig was my intern. I was his first gig in entertainment. He was an intern for me at KISW. Seriously. Yep. And Craig went on and moved to New York and got on the Stern Show and tours now, and couldn't be prouder of him.
Yeah, he's really funny.
He's a great kid, a funny guy, and a great guy. Great person, good person.
Yeah.
Anybody can be funny, I think, but some people are jerks about it and just assholes deep down, even though they're entertaining.
Sure.
Craig's a solid citizen. He comes by and he goes, "Going to the show tonight?" I'm like, "Nah, I couldn't score tickets." He goes, "You want to go? I can get a pass." Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, no problem. So, and so he's okay. Well, blah blah blah. Give me a call. I'll meet you down there. Yada yada. So I drive home from the game, and I said to my wife, "Listen, Craig said I could, he can get me into the Temple Dog." She's like, "Go." She's like, "Go." Wait, well, I don't. You think I should? She's like, "If you ain't going, I'll go, and he'll get me in on your dance." So Melissa made sure I went, and it was like I posted from the show on Facebook. Thank you, by the way, for making me be more social than I am. It's a work in progress.
You're gonna find your step.
I know.
You're gonna find it. When you post it, 5,000 views. I post it 213.
But they love you. They care.
They do.
Your
Those
people
are
care.
very focused 213 people.
It was amazing in so many senses because I saw so many people from 25 years ago.
Yeah.
People that I see from time to time in different places, but they were all gathered. There's a line from a movie I love called Grosse Point Blank.
Yeah, I love that movie.
And when Joan Cusack was talking about high school reunions, it was like everyone had swelled. It was seriously like the cast of Singles had swelled. All the extras from Singles were there. And they had all just gotten older. Wow. They're still wearing the same shit.
Yeah. And a lot of bands, I imagine. A lot of local musicians.
A lot of local love there. Yeah, a lot of local talent in the room.
Mark Arm, probably.
Yeah, oh, yeah. But you know who wasn't there was Eddie goddamn Vedder.
Really?
Pissed me off. It kind of pissed me off that the guy he jumped up on stage with him in Philly, and I'm sure he may have done, I don't know where else he got on stage with him and played, but I saw a video of him playing, but he didn't come. And there was, well, Eddie had a prior commitment, he couldn't make it. Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. And then I saw a picture of him like that afternoon at the Eagles Seahawks game.
I don't think he lives here though anymore, does he?
I don't know if he does. I think he does.
Maybe.
But he was in town for the Seahawks Eagles game that afternoon.
Wow.
When I saw a picture of him and Bradley Cooper, the actor, and the Eagles owner pounding it out on the sideline of the Eagles Seahawks game, then he couldn't trot his ass down to the Paramount to sing half a song.
Yeah.
And maybe, so he said, well, he was giving Chris the space, and it's Chris's band, really, and Eddie just did the one vocal, guest vocal. The whole album was Chris.
And he really just mumbled through it.
I don't mind eating bread. I could have done it. Craig goes, why don't you do it? I was like, you know McCready, get me up, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But it was funny because Chris Cornell's like, okay, Eddie couldn't make it, but you guys know the part, so you're going to sing his part. And it was a massive sing-along, which was cooler than shit.
Yeah.
It was super cool. But the band, that is an amazing, well, I mean, it's Pearl Jam.
Yeah, it is
Pearl Jam. It's because it's Stone and Mike and Jeff and
Yeah.
I'm farting on the name. Pardon me, Matt. Yeah, Cameron.
Oh yeah.
Who's Chris's drummer too? So in Soundgarden. So I mean, and Chris was in. The motherfucker hasn't aged a day.
No, it's crazy. It's really unfair. He's super handsome.
It's like he's drinking the blood of younger singers.
Yeah, I think he is.
Does. I really think he does.
Yeah. Nobody's seen his wife for years either.
He and Susan. I heard some. They had a horrible falling out.
Oh,
horrible falling out. From what I've heard.
I don't know.
Yeah. My buddy Craig.
Susan Silver.
Yeah. Who was instrumental in this town's musical, achievements.
She broke all those bands. It's her.
She
pretty much
managed.
Well, Kelly Curtis.
Kelly and That's when I was at KSW when we were the morning rock show in the center of the musical universe. That was a cool fucking time to be alive, man.
Amazing. I was in Virginia. I wasn't anywhere near coolness.
But before we move off Temple of the Dog, they are amazing musicians, and they played like the whole Temple album. Of course, they played a bunch of Mother Love Bone, a bunch. They spoke very fondly of Andrew,
of course.
And then they played like encores. They played some Bowie. They played some Cure. They played Achilles. They played Fascination Street.
Oh, that's the best Cure song.
Oh my God, they played Achilles' Last Stand.
Oh my gosh.
And I mean, destroyed it. It was brilliant.
Wow.
Brilliant. But when they played War Pigs, I have never seen any band in my life play a song live better than Temple of the Dog played War Pigs.
Wow.
I mean, I will honestly sit here and tell you without equivocation, I have never seen a band ever play any song live better than Temple of the Dog played War Pigs.
Can you say it one more time?
I have never in my life, and I've been to in excess of 600 concerts.
Yeah, you were rubbing it in.
I mean, that's all I ever did. That's my one weakness, was going to see live music.
Wow.
And I have never seen a band play a song better live than Temple of the Dog playing War Pigs.
Wow.
I mean, they fucking destroyed it. Mike McCready was having an out-of-body experience playing this song.
Wow. Yeah. I clearly wasn't there. I mean, I saw the picture on Facebook. I was like,
Oh man, it was, and it fell into my lap. As all great things in my life have fallen into my lap.
Well, there's no saying you don't deserve it. I mean, I'm glad you had that opportunity.
Thanks,
you love the music, you love the scene. You were instrumental part of it during the heyday.
Everybody in there knew my name. I guarantee it.
That's what I'm saying.
Everybody there in the crowd, in the crowd, backstage, on stage, they all knew who I was.
You were the other Cameron Crowe.
Isn't that funny as shit? Yeah, the guy who didn't put it together and just got stoned instead.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. But it's funny, and the reason I was able to do that was family.
Yeah.
Because if I had my brother and I had making sure we get to go to games together, I wouldn't have been down there. If Craig Gass, who is I consider family, I really do.
Yeah.
Me and my friends, they're family. It's the thing about family is you don't have to be related to be family.
No, absolutely.
You don't.
Yeah.
And if it weren't for family, if I hadn't treated Craig with respect and love, and he hadn't treated me with respect and love throughout our course of our lives and relationships, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
So
Wow, man. I mean, I don't mind. You can rub that in all you want because that's an amazing opportunity.
That was beautiful. I loved it. Bought a T-shirt and everything, man.
I spent $50 for that cotton.
It's funny though. My wife hates gray T-shirts. Hates them.
Gray?
Gray. And I bought this great looking Temple of Dog gray T-shirt from Seattle. Blah blah blah. And I thought about it. And I'm having it around my shoulder, around my neck as I'm watching the show, and I walked back up before the show was over and said, "Hey, you mind if I exchange this for a black one?" I didn't like the black one. I hate black T-shirts. I really, I'm not big.
I'm sorry. I'm
That's
wearing
okay.
a black T-shirt.
I'm moving past it.
Yeah.
No, but I'm not the big, So what I bought a black one because I knew my wife would like see me in it more than.
It's interesting
family.
because we've been sitting here for 30 minutes now, okay? And between the eye contact and this conversation, every once in a while I see you look at the shirt, and I'm thinking like, are you silently judging me about something?
No.
No, but I mean, now the fact that it's black and the fact that, of course, that I don't wear it well.
No. You wear it better than I do. I'd be stretching it out like a fucking movie screen if I was wearing it.
I think I got an A cup going on.
I got the moobs like Jagger.
Oh my gosh. So let's get straight to this deep six. What do you say?
Sure.
Because I think it's a pretty heady topic.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't have to be heady in the sense of let's talk about the despair of family. But
oh my God.
But I find it interesting. It's not that you're the eternal optimist and I'm the eternal pessimist. Oh, there goes your phone again. The interrupter, the grand interrupter.
May I
You
take
can.
this?
Yeah, I'm going to pop this off.
Please do.
And this is the moment where Spike has to take a phone call, and I gotta pee. So just a second.
And now back to our program. Okay, so we're back now because Spike had to take a very important phone call.
Yeah, I apologize to you, the customer.
Yes.
For having horrible customer service. There.
Nice way to think about it.
Thank you.
The customer.
Are you kidding me? That's one thing. I've always known that about radio. We are in the customer service business, and you give us your time. You know what? I mean, there's no greater gift you can give anybody than your time.
Yeah.
That's what we all have the least amount of in our life.
I'm trying so hard to slow down in this because my hyper personality wants so bad, not so much to dominate, but to entertain, like, with quotes around it at all costs, that I find myself, we had a conversation about this on the phone the other day about jumping into everything right off the bat because that dead space, that space between, you saying something and me saying something makes me so uncomfortable. I feel like I've got to fill it.
It's funny you use the word comfort.
Yeah.
You have to be comfortable in the fact that you are just being yourself and genuine, and comfortable in the fact that people have put faith in you that they're going to come and listen to your podcast.
Yeah.
And they're going to accept what you're going to give them because what they want is you. They don't want to be entertained. Of course they want to be entertained, but they want to be entertained by you.
Yeah.
And only you can entertain them. You can slap on a personality or try to gin up a persona, but if it's not you that they came to spend time with, it'll never last. So
that's very true.
So just be Rob and just chill.
Well, I just dig.
Tell that bitch to chill, Vincent.
I just wanted to watch that movie again the other day.
My God,
I gotta go pee.
I gotta go pee.
That's such a good
It's
movie.
all right. You're doing great.
Yeah. It's okay,
Into
honey
Ringo.
bunny. I need you to reach into that bag and get me my wallet back.
The one
Which
that
one
says-
is it?
the one that says
The
bad
bad
motherfucker.
motherfucker on it.
Take it. It's yours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jules, if you give that,
Yeah.
Nimrod
Yeah.
$1,400, I'm going to shit on my principal. Shut up, Vincent.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up.
I almost bought a Big Kahuna Burger sweatshirt the other day. I swear to God, man.
Yeah.
My Facebook feed is constantly riddled with ads for shit that I've looked at elsewhere.
Same.
I mean, I get ads for the T-shirts from the Dufresne and Redding Sailing Company of Zihuatanejo, Mexico.
Yeah.
Get busy living or get busy dying is the
Yeah.
company motto. And I saw a shirt for Big Kahuna Burgers. That is a damn tasty burger at the bottom of it.
Nice.
With a cup of Sprite in there. I'm like, oh.
Nice. It was about a year and a half ago. I went through this weird burger phase in my life. I have no idea what that even means, but I would change my Facebook
sex with
profile.
burgers?
No,
Okay.
no. I think I
That's
was just into the
That's
juiciness.
a weird burger face.
But for about, I don't know, a month, I changed my Facebook profile picture almost twice a day with the photo of a hamburger.
Fun.
Or Jules holding the Big Kahuna burger. And my mom, we were going through a really tough financial time. We were getting ready to go to Japan, and our family was living with my parents for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And my mom was just furious because she thought I was taking our remaining dollars and buying hamburgers every day. Oh. And she was like, you just keep rubbing it in. I'm here with your wife and your kids at my house, and you're out eating hamburgers every day. I'm sorry, Mom. I hope you hear this. Don't think I'm making fun of you, but it wasn't me. It was just a photo. I just thought it was funny.
That's funny. I'm here parenting your family while you had burger hunting.
So speaking of families, that is tough. I will say that. So a little family thing for my deep six is my parents very clearly loved us, and I think I've shared with you before. They were very good at what I call telepathic communication. My mom and dad would have conversations, but with us, like my dad never really said much, I love you, but he would imply it, and he would imply it with his actions. You always knew you were loved.
Okay.
He just kept to himself a lot.
Right. Wasn't a verbalizer.
Right. And my mom, much more of a verbalizer, but also quicker to anger. Excuse me, I'm going to burp. And it was just an interesting thing. But all that being said, I completely freaking lost my train of thought.
You're, ow. That hurt, man. We're talking about burgers and your mom was mad.
Gosh. Oh, yeah.
I'll bring you back.
Yeah, thank you, buddy.
Some orange juice. There you go.
Yeah.
It's all good, man.
I grew
trip.
up in this really, for the most part, I thought really average, normal American family.
Okay.
I just thought this was normal.
Yeah.
And always felt loved.
Okay.
There were some challenging times. My brother and I still to this day really don't get along. I mean, we just
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I was going to bring him up later. Because I think that's for another. I'll tell that story later. My parents, they just loved us. They loved us, and I think they raised us well. And they raised us with ethics and morals, and that was all good. It wasn't until after I had grown up and moved out and gotten married and had kids and all that stuff, I always looked back at it fondly. And then last year, the early part of 2015, so we actually sold our house the last day of 2014. And
That's a nice present to give somebody.
Yeah. It was really great tax write-off for somebody.
Well, I mean, somebody got their home.
Yeah.
Way to start the year.
Yeah, it was really cool. And a friend of a friend of a friend, it was kind of cool how it all worked out. But we weren't leaving to Japan until April. So we had...
Oh,
You
you were vagabonding it for 3 months.
Oh, it was terrible.
Is that how you ended up with your mom, with your folks?
Yes.
That's gracious of your mom to take you in like that.
It was.
I mean, she's your mom. What's she going to do?
Right.
Leave you on the street?
So I'm not working at the time. I'm studying for this finance exam because I was I wanted to run a fund. It's a long story. And so I'm going down to the coffee shop every day, which goes back to the thing I was saying earlier, which is my mom's getting pissed off that she thinks I'm enjoying myself while she's stuck at home with my wife and my kids, right?
You're out burger hunting.
But the thing that I discovered after 24 hours with my parents is that household was nowhere near it. Either it evolved out from what it was when I was a kid, or it was never what I thought it was. And there was this sort of romantic memory and that said it was something it never was.
Okay.
Right?
Well, that's human nature.
And that is human nature.
That's how we all cope and
But
recover.
I was shocked at how difficult it was. And again, my parents were extraordinarily gracious, bringing us into their home. You know, I mean, they let us, I mean, they moved out of their bedroom.
Wow.
Yeah, this is how awesome they were. They moved out of their bedroom, moved into the guest room, so we would have more space because we had these sort of futons that we'd put the kids down on.
Gotcha.
You know, the more
Yeah.
floor space.
Oh, yeah.
So they gave up everything.
Wow.
But my dad was ill. You know, all that stuff. And so they're doing this in the middle of all that on top of it. But there was so much tension. It was just insane.
Well, it's, yeah.
You know, so we lasted 3 weeks before we had to just go somewhere else.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I mean, they didn't say you got to leave.
No, but it
we
was-
knew we got to get out. We got to do it for their sanity and our sanity.
Cool.
So we lasted 3 weeks, and then we ended up moving in with my very good friend in Bellevue, and they let us stay for almost 3 months. You know, which was amazing. We basically, in a sense, rented out their basement.
Cool.
And that was really cool. So, yeah, family's tough, but you know, like you said a second ago, you wouldn't change it you're stuck with them, but it's a good kind of stuck, even when it's difficult.
Well, yeah, it's funny. When we started talking about this topic of family, it's like there's nothing in your life that you can't attribute, good or bad, to your family. Yeah. I mean, everything, at least for me, maybe not everybody's like that, but at least for me, everything revolves around family.
Yeah.
You know, it's the bedrock of who you are, how you make decisions, how you interact with people, all comes from family. You know, how you choose to budget your time and your resources. It's about family. I mean, and maybe I'm blessed. Maybe it's an East Coast thing. I don't know. You know, I was born and raised on the East Coast, home of big families. You know, when we were in a big family, we had 4 kids. I guess that's a big family. 6 people.
Cultural and ethnically, though, I mean, you got all the Italian, all the Irish, all the Scottish.
Shit, my buddy Tony's one of 9 kids. His mom's one of 9 kids. His
There you
dad's
go.
one of 8 kids. They have 53 first cousins.
Right.
At the Fort family.
Right.
Okay. When I took my wife back to Baltimore the first time, we were just dating, Melissa and I wanted to take her back to Baltimore to see where I was from. And we went in for the Thanksgiving holiday to Baltimore. God love her. She flew cross country with me. And we have family there. I have aunts and uncles and cousins still in Baltimore. And we were staying with our cousins, and we went to see my buddy Tony's family on Thanksgiving. And we walk into this house on Thanksgiving, unannounced, and there's 100 people in this house. 100 people, French Italians. Okay,
Wow.
The dining room
All
table.
Catholic.
Oh, you bet your ass. The dining room table stretches from the family room.
Yeah.
It takes an L into the living room. In the family room into the dining room, and an L into the living room. It's an L-shaped dining room table that's literally through 3 consecutive rooms.
Wow.
There's no less than a dozen babies.
I would love to have that experience.
At any one time. There's, the forts.
Had to be
there
noisy.
are no less than 5 turkeys on this table.
So tons of noise.
A din of noise. People running everywhere. Jamie! His mom, Miss Fran, comes up, gives me a hug. Scooch over. Everybody kind of shifts down 4 or 5 inches on a bench, throw 2 plates down. We sit down, and Melissa's just like in awe.
Wow.
Because she's not from this kind of a world. And Tony's 5 sisters are there with their husbands / boyfriends / kids, like blah, blah, boom, ba-ding, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, what's better than that? You just revel in that,
Yeah.
Massive family,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. It actually reminds me, you can tell your stories and they're always so positive and hope-filled.
Mm-hmm.
It's like my taste in movies.
Yeah.
Everything about my life.
And then they cut her open,
Yeah.
yeah.
And my family's like all down and depressing. No, actually I have a really, really interesting, I don't know. I wouldn't call it a conundrum, but so there's the Jones family and then there's the Marriott family,
Mm-hmm.
the Marriott family, my mom's side, and the Jones family. So basically the Jones family, they are all, of which I am proud to be,
Mm-hmm.
right? They are all smug. I love you guys. I'm smug too.
Yeah.
Smug, know-it-all, argumentative. They're the family you see in the movie that just argues constantly.
Yeah.
Love each other like crazy, but argue about everything. I mean, they purposely pick fights. Purposely. And it's all the worse at Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Well, yeah. Well,
I mean, they just revel in getting under things. And,
Well, yeah.
and, you know, they're the people on Facebook that are pissing me off, and they're my family, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, don't all families do that to a degree, I guess.
Yeah, but my family like lit a fire under that.
Well, just because I'm optimistic and, you know, and hopeful and joyful, and that don't mean my family doesn't do the same exact thing.
Yeah.
We bump each other, you know,
Yeah.
we dig.
Yeah.
We noodle. We get in. But that's the best. That's the fun. That's the best part of it, man.
Yeah, well, I think the best part is surviving it.
Well, yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah.
but so the Marriott side is would be the opposite. They are neurotic.
Okay.
I mean, crazy neurotic. I mean, like certifiably crazy neurotic. Like need to go to the hospital neurotic.
Yeah.
I can't even exaggerate how neurotic.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love it so much. And we've gotten them together once, I think, in my entire life. And that was about 4 months ago when my father passed away. So they're like, ooh, who are those people? That you could feel it right at the church service for my dad. But I would never go to Thanksgiving. Well, I should say never. Rarely go to Thanksgiving or Christmas at the Jones family. And it's because my grandfather, he was a horse guy. So he had a stud ranch, the whole thing. Yeah, like 70 horses on the property, 50 acres.
Wow.
The whole thing. And so all my aunts and uncles are horse people.
This is your maternal side of the family?
No, my paternal.
Okay.
So my father, the Jones family.
Oh, I thought you said the Marriotts.
No, I'm sorry. No, the Marriotts are neurotic.
Okay.
So, but the Joneses are all horse people.
Okay.
And
how old were you at this point in time, you think?
Well, this memory would be when I was 12, 13 years old.
Okay.
So by this time, my grandfather had moved his family, well, I should say his wife and, you know, their horses down to the Winlock area down south of Chehalis on maybe 10 acres. They had this like 35-year-old Shetland pony that was just dying all the time. and like 2 dogs that were always outside and miserable and hated everybody. and goats. And just about a mile away, the north and southbound train ran. You could hear it every day at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. It was just crazy. It's just this weird experience. But we would go to their house and they didn't have TV. And they didn't have games. They didn't have toys. They didn't have anything that was remotely child friendly. So my brother and I it was just torture. We just hated going there.
Really?
And on top of it, my grandparents, God bless them, they were I love them very much and I miss them very much, but they were not kid people. Kind of goes to the story of my dad, right? When I told you my dad was just like the guy who tripped kids, you know what I mean? So they just weren't kid people, and so they didn't have anything kid friendly.
They had horses, for God's sake.
Well, what they wanted you to do is come over for Thanksgiving, and after dinner you can go out in the field and help Grandpa feed the horses. They wanted you to kind of
do some chores.
Work,
That's
chores.
That's what
kids are for.
Sure.
You know, so there was this weird vibe, you know. And so my brother and I, we would complain an awful lot. Like, can we go to the Marriott's house for Christmas or Thanksgiving? And sure enough, after time, there was this sort of weird family fallout, and we would go to my mom's family a lot more. I mean, we're talking 9 out of 10 years. That's where we
made it
go.
clear you didn't want to go where there weren't games and fun.
I mean,
that's not. Don't be so hard on yourself. That's natural.
Yeah, but I'm telling
You're a
you.
kid.
So those memories with my grandma and grandpa Marriott are just glorious.
Yeah,
they are glorious. Now, did they have a lot of kid friendly stuff? Not that much, but they had some.
Yeah.
But it was because my cousins would go, and we were all the same age. And
cousins are the first friends you ever have in your life, man. Absolutely.
And you'd play Risk or Sorry or Uno or whatever.
Sure.
It was actually Yahtzee. That was the thing.
We did board games with the cousins.
And
pre-video games. With 2 people played and 8 people watched.
Cards,
horse shit.
Lots of poker. I
remember my grandparents had poker nights.
Yeah.
Every Saturday night when I was growing up.
It's awesome.
And them and their neighbors would come over and they'd play penny poker at my grandfather and grandmother's kitchen table. And all the kids would just run amok around the house, but don't you dare bug the table.
Yeah.
You know, you go steal snacks and treats and blah, 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 and grab a beer, stick it behind the couch and drink somebody's beer when they weren't looking at it, you know, but they'd play penny poker all night.
Yeah. But I got a story I got to get to because it's funny. It's so funny. It's so bad and so hilarious. You're going to love it. But my grandparents always played Christmas music, and they always had a fire, and it smelled like Christmas. It's that smell thing. Mm-hmm. It smelled so glorious, and the cross between the chocolate chip cookies and the fudge and the turkey and all those things. And it wasn't like they necessarily made them better than anybody else. It was just that conglomeration of scents and the noise, the din of the happy kids running around the house, and the smell of the outside. You get out of your car before walk into the house, and they lived on the edge of this forest, and you could smell the wet coming off of the forest. It's like the best thing ever.
Yeah, awesome.
And so when I hear Johnny Mathis on the radio, it doesn't matter any Johnny Mathis song, I just bawl like a baby because I long.
It's beginning to look a lot
well,
like
maybe
Christmas.
not that one, but oh Holy Night. I can't even sing Oh Holy Night without crying. Yeah, the stars are brightly shine. Yeah, exactly.
Hear the night.
But here's a funny little family story. So I have he's now since passed, so I can mock him.
Okay.
My Uncle Jim, 1 year, and I believe it was Thanksgiving. So I on the drive to my grandparents' house, I got car sick. I never ever got car sick, but I got car sick. And so I'm laying on the couch, once I'm there at the house, and I'm just recovering. And my Uncle Jim is walking around in the living room, and he's doubling over every few seconds in pain, like he's having like appendicitis or something. I mean, it's really, really, truly in pain. And just like, all of a sudden he'd get a cramp and a bite, and he'd just like, and he'd double over. And my mom comes in, and she's like, Jim, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, Carolyn, oh gosh, it hurts so much. I can't, I don't know what to do. And it's a holiday.
Yeah.
Do you go to the doctor, or what do you do? And he sits down. She's like, just sit down, Jim. And my aunt comes in, and she's like, are you okay? And he's like, no, there's something really going on. It's really scary, and I don't know what to do. And so my mom and my aunt go in the kitchen, and they get Jim some water, and they come back in. And I'm sorry, because I know the punchline of this. They go, Jim, just what's going on? And he's saying, so remember, this is my Uncle Jim. Okay. He goes, it's right here. And he's kind of pushing on where his intestines would be. And my mom goes, well, where does it hurt? And he's like, right here, right by my uterus. Yes. My uncle thought he had a uterus.
Oh. He wasn't being just coy. He really thought he had a uterus.
I didn't think. He really thought he had a uterus.
He really thought.
It hurts right next to my uterus.
Wow, that's next to your textbook. Yeah.
I love that.
It's fucking weird as shit, dude. You had me all Johnny Mathis and chestnuts on open fire and shit, and your Uncle Jim has a uterus? My God.
I gotta do something to entertain people. they're like, quit talking about this morose crap, dude, and tell us a weird story. So that's the truth. My Uncle Jim
thought he had a uterus.
He probably eventually discovered he doesn't have one.
He should have discovered that goddamn night. And the ladies put him straight.
I don't really remember it too much, but I remember.
How old were you?
7.
Okay.
I remember watching.
This was Jim's first year of medical school, right?
Yeah. It was before I even knew about a uterus,
right?
And but I remember laying on the couch and looking up at my mom, and he said that. And my mom goes like, what? And she looks at my Aunt Betty, and she looks back. They look at each other, and then they both go, just a second, we'll be right back. And they walk in the kitchen and just start laughing.
Oh, how old was Jim?
I know. Probably 35.
Okay.
Yeah. Amazing. God rest your merry soul, Jim.
And all your extra parts.
Yeah, he was a neat guy. He was a really neat guy. He just didn't know he didn't have a uterus. That's weird. Okay. So tell me a story.
Tell me a
about your
story, Uncle Spike. About my family?
Sure.
You know, I don't know. It's you know, I can concept family better than I can cherry pick why family's important, I guess. I don't know.
That's cool.
I mean, you know, I come from a divorce. You know, I'm a child of divorce. And my mom married, you know, my stepdad when I was, I don't know, 7, 8.
And your stepfather's still alive.
Stepfather's still alive.
That's
yeah,
the Trump
yeah,
guy.
Yeah, that's Ike. German, you know, German immigrant, just fresh out of Vietnam, served in the military. Came home, met my mom with 2 boys. You know, she'd been divorced for about 3-4 years at this point.
How old were you?
I probably about 6, 7 when
Is that
they
where the
met.
Spike thing came from?
No, God, no.
Like Ike and Spike?
Nope. Spike came from the day we went on the radio here in Seattle.
Okay.
Bob told me that Jamie O'Neill wasn't a good radio name.
Okay.
And I didn't have a radio name, so I came up with Spike on the spot.
Okay.
But the Ike and Spike thing has kind of folded itself out nicely over the years. You know, I grew up in a household that was, you know, I told you about my mom and Christmas, and Ike was always working, you know, worked more than he probably, as all dads do, they work, you know, and he was a disciplinarian, my dad, big time, because we were little bastards when he met my mom.
Sure.
And I don't mean that in the literal sense. You know, we were monsters. We've been running roughshod over my poor mom, you know, single mother for a few years now. So he kind of whipped us right into shape fast. And it's kind of growing up where you resent the old man, you know, it was the old man. And that grew after time, and a sense of perspective and appreciation. All the resentment grew to pride and
Did you do a lot of the "You're not my dad"?
oh, never. No,
That's
no,
cool.
No.
Because I mean,
no.
you know, some people really.
Yeah, well, some people that's their only weapon.
Yeah.
To come back in a moment like that. You know, he did what he did to us, for us. You know, because it's what we needed.
Yeah.
You know, I got
He loved
spanked.
you.
I got
He
whipped.
cared
I
about you.
got smacked. Or, you know, not in the face. I got smacked on the ass a bunch. Because I deserved every one of them.
Can I stop you there? Do you believe in corporal punishment?
No,
So you don't think that was a good thing for you? Because my
It was
wife and I
exact-
had a massive argument
it was
about
exactly
this last
what
night.
I needed. Was exactly what I needed.
Okay.
But I have daughters.
Okay. What
He had
about sons?
I probably would.
That's really interesting. Because I mean, this was my wife and I had a freaking knockdown drag out.
Yeah.
I mean, terrible.
About spanking?
It sucked. It
Yeah.
totally sucked. I love you, baby. I love you so much. Terrible argument about this last night, and it all stemmed from my son basically being a little bastard. And he, to me, I was like, we got to correct this.
Right.
And
There's got to be cause and effect.
right. And it got down to the argument about. I'm sorry for the distraction, but I just want to ask
No.
real
This is family.
is my daughter has been one of those glorious little kids that just kind of does everything right. And we never really went down that road with her. And I
Right.
couldn't even imagine going down that road with her. I guess because she's a girl, some weird, dumb thing. And yet the boys, I told my wife, I said, look, what I don't want to raise are 2 little pussies. It's nothing about anything else. I said, I want them to grow up and be respectful of women.
Right.
So I'm sorry for even using the word pussy. I'm sorry.
yeah, no.
But respectful women, respectful of their elders, respectful of their friends, right? Respect.
Right.
And to me, that corporal punishment isn't something you do for an extended period of time, but it's an incredible communicator of a dissatisfaction. And my wife's argument, and it's fair, is that yes, but it's done 99.999% of the time out of frustration and anger on your part.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, because I wouldn't be mad at them if they
Right.
weren't breaking the rules
Right.
or right,
If it wasn't the third time I had to say this.
pushing the limits.
Right.
So of course I'm going to be upset. Now, should I beat them into submission? No, of course not.
No.
But a whop on the butt, absolutely.
They should know what will happen if they decide to make that choice
Right,
again.
right. And so, it's just been, like I said, sorry, babe.
I think I smacked our older daughter on the ass once, maybe twice in her life. And one time when I smacked her, I just literally lose my temper and throw a hand across her ass.
Yeah.
To the point of, shock and awe, bring her to tears.
Shock and awe is a perfect way to put it.
Whoa! Yeah, right. And that
yeah.
look on their face like, oh my God, you struck me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was serious about this, and these are the rules, and this is the consequence of you deciding to disregard them with such disdain for my set of my boundaries and my rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, parenting is a crapshoot. You got to do the best you can every moment by moment.
Yeah.
But I don't spank my daughter. I didn't spank the big one. Like I said, once, twice in her life, maybe.
Okay.
For girls, I think you ground them. You take away shit. Boys, you can't take shit away from boys. You just find other shit.
Well, we just become more defiant.
Well, for me, say my brother and I would get something taken away from us. Fine, I'll find something else to fuck around with.
Yeah. I'll steal it.
I'll steal something. Whatever.
I'll go
do
find
something
it.
else.
Find the thing you took away from me. I'll find it and get it back.
Right.
Yeah,
I can overcome that.
Yeah.
But sitting on the couch waiting to get your ass whooped, having you and your brother decide who goes first.
Yeah.
Who's going to get the old man's wrath first? Who goes first? I went first last time. I don't care. You're going first again this time.
Yeah.
I'll trade you for it. I'll do your dishes for a week. No.
I always got my mom's wrath, though. My dad, really, I remember getting swatted maybe twice from my dad. I got it from my mom. My mom had this yellow plastic spoon that had accidentally melted a portion of it on the burner. And so it had a groove cut into it and it hurt like hell. And it had that whip action to it. And, of course, you put your hand in front of it because it's coming.
Oh, yeah.
And she'd be like, move your hand, move your hand, move your hand, move your hand.
Yeah.
But the truth is it worked. I didn't want to get swatted.
Right.
And I never, ever, ever felt like I was being abused because I knew my parents loved me.
Right.
I knew this is how it works.
Right. I didn't get backhanded across the face. One time I got knocked across the face by my dad. One time.
That would be different.
One time. I swore in front of my mom.
Oh.
My brother and I were having a fight. And my mom was in the room and I dropped an F-bomb right in front of my mom. The old man, he backhanded me so hard, I literally went through the air and took a couch over, hit the back of the couch and took the couch over.
Wow.
I mean,
you will not disrespect your mother.
You will not disrespect your
ever.
mom ever again. Nope. Never
and
did
you
again.
never did.
You bet your ass.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But you knew still, even then, you knew that your dad or stepdad, whatever, I don't know how you refer to him, but your dad loved you and wanted you to understand that this was a non-negotiable.
He signed on for the hardest job on the face of the earth.
Yeah.
Raising,
you.
Well, no, I think any stepfather, I think.
Yeah.
Stepfathers stepped up.
Yeah. Wouldn't you feel the same way about a stepmom?
Sure, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Because my wife absolutely.
Of course.
Absolutely. Stepped up.
Step parents step up.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. No greater person.
Has to be so hard.
Yep.
I used to complain. I mean, I'm serious. I know I didn't mean to take it for granted, but I'd have discussions with my wife. I was like, I don't understand. Why is this so hard? And she's like, because they're not my, you know what I mean? And not to say she didn't love them. She loved them tremendously. She's like, but it was like, you know what? How I feel? We've been married a year and you're going to band rehearsal. Mm-hmm. I feel like I stepped into a marriage to babysit your children because she hadn't yet developed. I mean, she cared about them greatly, but she hadn't yet developed that motherly love for them.
Right.
And of course they could sense it. That's not fun.
No.
So anyway, yay step parents. But please continue with your story about your father and raising you and the fact that you got whopped on the butt a couple times.
Well, you're talking about family, but that instilled in me how I treat women. To your point earlier. That came from family. How I want to raise my kids came from family. How I decide to spend my time and my resources. It's it all comes from the folks who raised you and the family that took you in, or I grew up in a neighborhood with big families. I talked about this a little earlier with my buddy Tony's house. You could leave my house on a summer morning and just go find other kids, and it didn't matter where you went for lunch. Yeah, it didn't matter whose house you were at. Of the 10, 20 friends within the 4 blocks of where I grew up, we all ran together. Didn't matter whose house you were at lunchtime, you got fed. Didn't matter whose house you were at dinner time, you got fed. Yeah. People just...
That's such an East Coast thing.
It is. I mean, it's such an East Coast thing. My parents would be like, okay, be back before dark. Yeah. Don't forget to eat.
It was actually more like, okay. You got to have the accents. Right.
Hey, but damn moves going down the ocean. I mean, it's I can remember family vacations going down the shore. We'd get a place and the aunts and uncles would come with all the cousins and the grandparents, and we'd have one big ass house and we'd stay there for whether a weekend or a week if we're lucky. And
wow.
Just run amok, man. Kids, here's $10 each. Go hit the boardwalk at sunset and play arcade games and ride rides and have your asses back here by 10, or you're not going out to the beach tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
That sounds like a dream to me.
It's the greatest.
Again, going back to our family, we between the Smug and then the Neurotic, there was a lot of chaos in that. I mean, loved them all. I continue to love them all. They're all incredible people. They really, truly are. But there was just so much chaos in there, and especially how my father was. He really just couldn't stand kind of either side. Mm-hmm. I mean, he loved them, but he didn't necessarily want to hang out. And so we would be pretty. If we were going somewhere, it was like, okay, we're there at say 1:30. We're eating at 3. We're out of there by 6:30.
Okay.
Yeah. He was like, in that Kids in the Hall movie. Okay, time to go, kids. You know what I mean? It was just wanted to kind of get back home and have his family to himself and celebrate the things he wanted to celebrate and how he wanted to celebrate. And so, that's kind of how it ended up. But a friend of mine recently, last year, took his entire. We're talking like cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents, kids, everything. I think it was 37 people.
Holy.
Took them to Italy. I know. He's very well to do.
Yeah, I would think.
Yeah, he took them to Italy for 6 weeks.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, basically
people?
rented an airplane. I think it was 37.
Jeez, that's $1 million vacation.
No, he spent like $400,000.
Yeah.
And they rented a house.
Of course.
On the Mediterranean.
Nice.
I mean, it was like as overkill as it gets.
Sure.
Rented like a Ferrari while he was there.
Sure. Well,
And they drove, different people drove it around to have the experience. Just crazy stuff. But I would love, granted, I think we would all
love that. Yeah.
But I would love that experience of even just, I don't know, like a 4-day weekend at Stehekin at Christmas time.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
Sure.
Like take the boat up and you're up there and you snowshoe.
Yeah.
And you come back and you got a hot fire going and there's no TV, none of that other stuff, and you just play board games. Yeah,
Let's go.
You and I were going to do that. But just go play board games and just cook great food, and you just, it's kind of shut in by the storms and maybe even the power goes out, and you just are in that beautiful hot. Gosh, I just love that idea. Nice. I love that idea so much.
That's great.
20 below outside.
Sure. Keep the fire going.
Do you like that?
What's not to love about that, man? That's company,
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
So going back to family then, because you love, well, I shouldn't say maybe you love, but you said that you have these giant family get-togethers or have had them.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself as a 50-plus-year-old man now, that when you get together with family or friends that you like to keep it small, or do you like to keep it big? Do you still like to go big and bombastic, or do you like to have like another family and then just kind of like your 6 kids and you all just kind of hang?
I think the more the merrier is always better.
Yeah.
I do.
That's the Brad Pitt school of thought.
Yeah, I guess.
That's what he says. He says noise equals life.
Yeah, no, I'll buy that.
I think that's a great quote. It reminds you it's okay.
Yeah,
noise equals life.
Absolutely. I mean, if intimate's fine, but then you really got to focus on fun. If there's a shitload of people, there's always something. You bored with this? Go to that.
Were you ever a video game guy or any of that?
Not really.
How about a television guy? I mean, I know you were when you were a kid, of course.
I'm still
who
a
didn't like the Brady
guy.
Bunch and Gilligan's
Island. Oh, Mrs. Brady lost her. Man.
I know. I was just thinking about this the other day that Shirley Jones, she passed away.
No,
right?
my first cognitive.
Is she
wood.
still alive?
Shirley Jones.
Okay,
I've told you that story, right?
I know, but I thought she had passed away.
No,
too.
I don't think she has.
Okay,
I could Google it real quick.
Okay,
but.
no, well, she's still alive. She's just over there going, "Yes, I win."
No, it was Florence Henderson was. I mean, Mrs. Brady raised everybody. Sure.
Yeah.
Shirley Jones was my first cognitive wood, but it was from Carousel.
And she, I don't blame you at all.
Shirley Jones, Carousel, man.
She has a very sordid life too.
I've heard that. Yeah, I don't know about her dirt. Unless it's with me.
I know. I don't really care. I mean, I had heard, without talking about any details, that it was actually really forced on her by Jack Cassidy.
Oh, really?
It wasn't really her choice. It was you're married to me, so we're going to go do this stuff, and you're going to deal with it, which is kind of crazy.
That's kind of talk about love.
But Jane Fonda had to deal with that with Roger Vadim as well.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was forced into all sorts of multi-sexual situations that she greatly despised.
Wow.
And wrote an incredible story about it.
Really?
Yeah. Her. I've never been a Jane Fonda fan. Don't get me wrong. And my aunt in Eastern Washington, if she thought I was a Jane Fonda fan, she'd like come over and shoot me in the head.
Hanoi
in my house.
Jane shit?
Exactly.
Yeah.
She still like holds that grudge.
Yeah. Well, it's a big grudge. I mean, I don't know the details, but I've heard the story.
Yeah.
So.
It's like, how much can Facebook really tell you
Dude, I
about
don't want
Hanoi Jane?
Geez, I don't believe anything. You people, you Facebookers, man. You and your factless, positions drives me nuts, man.
Yeah. So what else? Come on, keep going, buddy. You got to fill me in more. Tell me more about those experiences.
About family?
Yeah. I mean, like, what else strikes you unique? What strikes you unique about family? How about this? I'll explain mine afterwards. But
my musical tastes come from family.
Pardon?
My musical tastes come from family.
Yeah.
My uncles and aunts. I was told just once before, my uncles and aunts used to spend a lot of time babysitting my brother and I. So I was exposed to Alice Cooper and Grand Funk and Black Sabbath and all these bands. Yes. And when I was like 12, 13 years old, 8, 9, 10 years old, I was a rock and roll, kid raised on rock music.
Wow.
Free Ride. When I was too young to know what it was, but I was listening to that record. So all my musical tastes came from family. My uncle got me stoned the first time I got stoned.
Interesting.
My mom's little brother,
uncle.
Uncle Rob, my mom's little brother, got us baked for the weekend.
Wow.
My mom, I think, was in the hospital having my youngest brother, and I was 11, and my Uncle Rob, he kept us for the weekend, and he had a bunch of friends come over. Thought it'd be funny if we got the little nephews high and. Eating peanut butter right out of a jar. Family, man.
It's so terrible.
It's family. No, it's not.
No, it's awesome.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. And
It's
so
awesome.
terrible at the same time.
It's family.
Do you have relationships? You have a large family.
Yeah.
My brother and I, we sound exactly alike on the phone. I mean, if he called you, you'd think.
Yeah, my brother and I, same way.
And we don't really look alike, although we have some similar features. I'm much taller than him. In fact, I'm taller than everybody else in the family. Everybody in my family's 5'8" or shorter, and then there's me.
Oh wow,
which is kind of bizarre.
You're the mailman.
I am. Weird, I know. I was wondering about that. He had red hair though, so there's that. But my brother and I never, and still to this day, we really don't have anything. Anything in common.
Really?
Zero.
Huh.
Name it. Sports, movies, food, lifestyle, where he lives. I like rain. He likes heat.
Who's older?
I am.
You are? Okay.
And yet my brother is so gracious about his love for me and his admiration for the things I do, whether it's my desire to, I'm going to do this podcast and I'm going to make it good. And he's like, you go, Rob. He's that guy, which is great.
Yeah.
And when my father passed away, here he is living in Florida and he's doing more for my mom than I am. And I'm 3 hours away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that happens.
But that was, that's always been his thing. And yet, if we're around each other for an hour, we both start going like, kind of gotta go now.
Yeah.
So do you have that sort of thing with your siblings? Or anything?
No, not really. We're tight. Although it's funny, I mentioned my brother is politically diverse from me, but that's really the only thing we're not similar on. And it's bizarre that we're so different about that.
Yeah.
I moved here, single. And I really kind of developed a lot of my perspective here in the Northwest. I came here at 26.
Yeah.
And that wasn't to say that I didn't have opinion on the East Coast, but the East Coast is a very different culture than here. It's a very competitive culture. Cultures are competitive, I should say, on the East Coast, trying to be as gentle as I can about this. Cultures aren't inclusive on the East Coast. Cultures are competitive on the East Coast.
Yeah.
My brother didn't move here until he was probably closer to 30, or it was later than that. It was closer to 40 when he moved here. Yeah, 40. He was actually 40 couple when he moved here, because he moved here after my 40th birthday. He's a year and a half older than me.
Oh, he's older. Okay,
13 months older than me. We're almost Irish twins.
Oh.
Irish twins are babies born in the.
I was going to say.
Irish twins are babies born within 12 months of each other.
Makes sense.
Irish twins,
right? Because you just got to get
Irish
it
foreplay.
in as
Irish
soon as
foreplay.
possible.
How about now? 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 Irish foreplay.
But honey, I'm still bleeding.
How about
it's
now?
Just lube.
How about now? That was way to go. That was rough. I lost my mom, dude. So So
Well,
you know, it's
the
funny.
bad
My brother. I bring this up because that's okay. I'm going to get off that my mother's lube as quick as I can. My brother moved here when he was 40 couple, so I think his characteristics were more ingrained than mine were. I was more of a blank slate when I got here, more of a clean palate when I got here, socially. And I was, you know, here where cultures are much more diverse than the East Coast. Here where I was single and was able to do what I wanted to do in an industry that provided me with nothing but fun in radio in my mid-20s. My brother was working his ass off, working in the car business as a manager, a service manager back in Maryland with a wife and 2 kids in a culture that was, you know, very combative.
Right, and very blue
collar. Yeah, so we have different priorities, I guess, or different perspectives. It's a better way to put it, kind of way to put it. But that being said, if it don't come up, it's all fine because we're family.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you talk about your brother being your biggest cheerleader. My brother's my biggest cheerleader.
Yeah.
But to a degree, there was a sense of jealousy about what I was able to do because it all just fell in my lap. And it became very easy and natural to me. Whereas he went to school for broadcasting and ended up getting in the car industry and working his ass off being blue collar. Whereas I got to just live this rock star life and travel the globe for my job for fun. They paid me to go to Ireland and Norway and Africa and Brazil and
Bangladesh.
And Bangladesh, yeah. I mean,
how does it pronounce? Bangladesh?
Bangladesh.
Okay.
Yeah. But I got to do that as part of my job. I got paid to do that, see the world, talk about it. What a fucking gift.
Yeah.
You know, and even though he's jealous a little bit, and I say, oh, no, I don't know. But I mean, there was some jealousy there. He never spoke of it, never, you know, acted on it, but it was far eclipsed by pride and joy for my joy.
Sure.
You know? Yeah,
sure.
Easily.
Well, there was a period of time, I mean, my brother, when he was 19, living in Olympia before he decided to move to Hawaii. I mean, my brother's been very much the right test drives life. I think that's really cool. Like, I was kind of a chicken about it. Yeah. You'd think I would be the guy, but I actually wasn't at all. I wanted to settle down and get married, and I wanted to do all those things. I just desperate for love, you know. And when my brother was 19, he had enough of a taste of the desire for success and financial success that he really got into real estate investments.
Okay.
And he, with some other hard money lenders, private money lenders, you know, investors, bought an entire block of downtown Olympia as a 19-year-old.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, wow. I remember being, you know, in Virginia. I think I was in the Navy at the time, you know, and he's like telling me this stuff. I'm like, what? You know, like, you're going to have your mansion, man, you know, because that was something, you know, he dreamed of as a child. And I was so proud of him. And, you know, he did those, and he bought some properties in Hoquiam and Aberdeen that he could rent out and cash flow. And he was being really, you know, and not to say he's not doing anything smart now. He's got his own company in Tampa, and it's awesome. But there was this period of time where I decided in the early 2000s to get into real estate and do the same kind of thing. Right. And I didn't have that level of success that he had, but he was always championing me on, you know, cheerleading me on. So yeah, for all of our frustrations and our inability to sort of hang out, we do secretly want the best for each other. Sure. We just suck at communicating it to each other. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. Well,
I mean, we're the kids who, when family took, my dad and mom took us over, I don't know, it was the North Cascades Highway. So I would have been 14, my brother would have been 12, and they went out to the viewpoint and then just said, hey, you guys just stay here, we'll be right back. And my brother and I just got in a massive fist fight in the back seat of the car. And I remember clearly having my thumbs on my hands on his face and my thumbs in his eyes. I was so furious. I just wanted to jam my fingers down, and I realized I could blind my brother. That's how, crazy. I know. That's how crazy. I'm just like,
you know what though? But brothers, nobody gets mad. You know, nobody gets as angry as brothers.
No, and then we just kind of like realized we were gonna really truly hurt each other. I mean, he had me like, you know, in other places, right? We were really truly gonna hurt each other in a way that maybe you couldn't fix.
Right.
And we both stopped and sat there, just fuming, you know, and my mom and dad come back in, and they're like, because it smells like
anger,
sweat and death and murders in the air, and then you know, they turn around and both of our faces are
blood red.
Yeah, just pissed.
Oh my god, man.
Like, what's going on?
Nothing. Yeah.
But I had this really, I still kind of have it. I do. I still have that. We talked about this before. I have that berserker thing.
Yeah.
That if it comes, dude, I can't control it. Yeah, I know. I can't.
Well,
I shouldn't say I can't. It just happens.
You can.
It just happens to me, and
Well,
it
yeah,
happens
and
so fast.
yeah.
It's almost like I've punched you before I realized I even wanted to punch you.
Well, good. You'll win. You'll win those more often
Well, I
than
wouldn't
not.
hit you because
no, I
you're
know,
big.
but
You'd
not.
crush
Not
me.
me. Not me. But if tell somebody you're going to hit them.
girls.
You don't
Girls.
tell
You hit
somebody.
girls.
You don't tell somebody you're going to hit them. You just hit them.
Yeah.
The fuck
I
you
know,
telling them for?
I know,
God,
I know.
if when you tell somebody you're going to hit them, you don't want to hit them.
That's true.
Come on.
That's
if you
true.
wanted to hit them, you would just hit them. You wouldn't announce it.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. Well, I know we've been running for a while here, and I probably got a lot of editing to do, especially the part where I had to go pee.
My phone rang.
Yeah.
We didn't begin to scratch the surface on this topic.
No.
It's a deep topic.
It's a deep 12 topic.
It is, yeah. But you know what, though? It's something that everybody can relate to, no pun intended.
Yeah.
Because everyone on the face of the earth can relate to what family means to them. And
Yeah.
what it has done to them
Yeah.
and done for them.
Yeah.
So,
No, I loved hearing your stories today. Is there any word of wisdom you want to leave everybody with?
you know what? Forgive your family. No matter what they've done, no matter what you've done, either forgive or seek forgiveness of your family. I got aunts and uncles who, when my grandparents died, I'll leave you with this story. When my grandparents died, my grandmother collected Hummels. You know what Hummels are?
Yeah.
They were very dear to my grandmother. That was what was her thing. And when she passed away, she had 4 siblings, my mom and 2 uncles and an aunt. And they literally had a draft for the Hummels to see who could take their favorite, who would get their favorite. And they had a draft.
Wow.
It would be kids 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. That they were going to do a draft to see who got which Hummels, because each had their most dear Hummel to them. Somebody went in the night before the draft and took a piece of Hummel that they wanted. And it meant more to them than their siblings did, obviously.
Right.
And I have aunts and uncles who didn't speak for decades after that. Didn't speak. Because no one would fess up to it.
To a Hummel.
To a piece of
And granted, valuable. and
I mean,
important to them.
it wasn't the monetary. It was the.
That's what I mean.
So it reminded them of their
valuable
mom. Decades over that. They cut their sibling out of their life. Get over it. Well, forgive your family,
Yeah.
or seek their forgiveness.
Yeah.
Nothing is more valuable to you than your family.
Yeah.
And maybe they're not your blood. If they're family, make up, get over it, suck it up, be the bigger man. Do it. It's worth it.
Yeah, it's good. My dad's death brought a lot of my family back from the edge of that same sort of thing.
Just call on to each other.
Yeah, just like, this is stupid. What are we
Yeah,
doing?
I
We've
know.
got limited time. Why aren't we
That's
spending
it,
time
man.
together?
That's it.
So thanks, buddy. So
You bet, brother.
glad you're back, and I'll see you next week.
You got it.